Central Texas Life with Ann Harder.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Central Texas Life, the podcast. I'm Ann Harder, and I am so happy to introduce you to Christi Proctor Hurst, who, if you remember Trading Spaces, which I do, that was coming on 22 years ago, though.
Has it been that long?
It has been a long, well, now I don't know exactly when you were on it, because it was on quite a while.
Yeah, it was on. They started the show, I think, in 2000.
Right.
And then I came on, they brought me on board in 2003.
Okay.
And I was on till 2007, so.
I never missed an episode. And that, sort of was in the beginning stages, it seems like, of the reality TV and all the designing shows. It's the first one I really remember.
Yeah, it's pretty much the granddaddy.
Yeah.
It came from BBC's Changing Rooms. They had that show in the UK.
Uh-huh.
And then I think the deal happened and ended up partnering and doing it over here, so.
And it was sort of on a lark that you auditioned for it and then got a nationwide audience. I mean, it was really a big show. I
was funny because, I answered I'm a licensed interior designer. And so in order to keep my license, I have to take continuing education courses. And so I happened upon an ad that didn't say TLC, didn't say Trading Spaces, just said design reality series looking for talent. And so I as a joke, answered the ad on the internet. And the next thing you know, there we go.
And so did they fly you out to California for a screen test? Or how
I
did all
had to
that
pay
work?
my own way
Oh.
to LA.
Okay.
This Texas girl had never been to LA. And so that was a trip. And it was in Hollywood. And a friend of mine, Jessica Armstrong, went with me. It was one of those calamity of error situations. The night before I left, I had forgotten my purse in my car. And someone stole my purse and my phone out of my car.
Oh.
And,
Welcome to the big city.
Yes. And this was in Lorena, of all places.
No.
Yeah, there was no big city. I hadn't even flown out of
You hadn't even gotten out of
I hadn't
town.
even flown out yet.
No.
So I didn't have my driver's license. I didn't have my phone. I didn't have my credit cards. I didn't have anything.
Oh.
And Jessica, bless her heart, said, come on, we're going to go anyway. And so I don't know how I got through the airport after, 9/11.
Really?
And I did. They put a scarlet letter tag on me because I had called the sheriff's department and tried to get as much as I could to prove that I was legit. Got on the plane.
Yeah, but your ID had been stolen.
ID
so
was gone.
Oh, my goodness.
So I got on the plane and sat in gum on the plane. That never happens. Get there, get to the car rental. I don't have my driver's license. I can't rent a car.
Of course not.
And so Jessica rents a car for us. Get to the hotel. I left my makeup bag on the bed at the house. So here I am for a TV audition without makeup or anything. So she takes me to CVS. And so, irregardless of what happened, I made it through.
Yeah.
And they hired me.
Yeah, the one time I was on a national show was on The View for something that was happening in Central Texas. I think they wanted an anchor from Channel 8, and they wouldn't do it. So anyway, they found me, and it was really early morning thing, and it was sort of a ambush situation. So I was there the wee early hours of the morning. It was dark and everything. And after it was all over with and I did my thing, and I realized I hadn't put on any mascara.
You did the whole interview without eyes.
my big shot at the big time on The View, and no mascara, but that's okay. So I feel your pain on that. Well, obviously they liked what they saw because you of course your connection to Waco and all made it even more fun to watch you. But you were a popular designer on that. So I was kind of refreshing my memory on how that show worked. You would go to somebody's house, and the neighbors would go in and repaint and all that. So you designing.
Yeah, so you each would get a designer, and you would each get $1,000, and then you would trade spaces.
Yep.
And then all the games and the shenanigans and things like that. So.
Yeah, and I think they had to sign a waiver saying they wouldn't sue
absolutely
the company for anything that they didn't like.
Yeah, and they couldn't say, I don't want Hildy. They had to take whoever showed up.
Yeah.
And that was in the contract. And also, we weren't responsible for changing anything. So if someone didn't like what we did, sorry, we were gone.
They need to do that themselves. Well, it was a fun show, and you didn't do any other TV after.
You know,
that.
I've done some green screen work and I did a little radio program with the Baylor radio station.
Yeah.
And I've done some things like that, but nothing really like that again.
Well, design is your thing.
It is.
And let's talk a little bit about your background in getting into that. You were from Texas. You grew up in the Valley, right?
So my dad was a Baptist preacher, and so I lived all over the state of Texas. I mean, if you could pick an angle or a spot, we lived all over. But I went to high school in the Valley in a town called Weslaco.
Oh, yeah. Weslaco. And so is that sort of where you got your roots in the... You have kind of a Western design. In fact, I think I saw someone... It's kind of mean, but they said, teased you, called it Western Bordello.
Yeah, I've heard that one before. Yeah, I am a little over the top.
Yeah, but I love it. I love the pictures that you share online. And besides being a designer, the whole thing, you know, the paint, the wall colors, the fabrics and all that, you also are a product designer. Let's talk a little bit about that.
So my product company is called Moon Rain, and it's like the reins of a horse. And that name comes from my love of I did reining horses for years, and I love horses. And that's always been my dream, is to be able to ride at night and have a picnic. And so my logo has 2 riderless horses in the big full moon. So it's sort of
that's kind of romantic.
It is. And that's sort of my soul. And I did product design for a company called Guildmaster for about 4 years after Trading Spaces, right at the end of Trading Spaces. And so they flew me to China, and we designed like 80 lamps for the company, and I loved it. I didn't so much enjoy working in China just because that was really hard for me to see. It's a really difficult place to be around the factories and the way they have them set up, and all the families are living right above the factory, but their kids are 3 or 4 hours away with their parents instead of raising their own children. It was tough. So that wasn't my favorite part of it. So when that ended, I thought, I love product design. What is it that I have done over the years that I love more than anything? And it was bedding. And there was a company called Double D Ranch, and they still do clothes.
Oh, yeah. Double D is very well known.
Cheryl and Audrey are the bomb diggity. They're so good. And so at one point, I even talked to them about maybe doing a bedding line with them, but then they phased out their bedding. So I thought, well, this is my perfect opportunity. So that's when I started Moon Rain Bedding Company, and that's been almost 12 years now.
Wow. So the flair obviously is Western. You also have a lot of, natural products, the leathers and the hides and that kind of thing.
Yeah. So it's funny because when we say Western, people immediately think of, coyotes and cactus and like, rustic ranch look. But when I say Western, I'm thinking more of high style ranch. So, like, imagine the Ponderosa on Bonanza, or Big Valley,
the log, look,
but yet they might have their European antiques in. So there's opulence in the rusticity. Oh, I like that word.
I do too. Did you make that up?
I think I did. So I like.
You heard
that
it here
mix.
first.
Yeah, I like that mix. So like, this is one of my pillows.
Okay, let me see that. Yeah, that's a bolster, right?
It's a big Tootsie bolster. I call this one the Buffalo
Tootsie.
Tootsie.
It does kind of Tootsie Roll.
I joke with Kathleen Geiger, who's a friend of mine that does therapy. She buys some of my pillows for a therapy couch. This one's the inner child. Because it's big
you
enough.
Just cuddle it.
Yeah, it's a big cuddle. But the silk velvet is my best seller, and my bedspreads, 95% of what I sell is this silk velvet. So it doesn't have to be Western.
Yeah.
It can be anything you want. French to it's because I make it.
Well, and laces are very Western too.
Yeah.
I think Victorian
and vintage florals. Florals go with that as well. So we're seeing a lot of women now doing the sort of modern West looks. So we're getting some chic modern look in, especially in design, maybe a mid-mod piece with a Western fabric or a cowhide on it. We're seeing a lot of that too.
Interesting kind of juxtaposition
Good word.
of those.
Another good word.
styles. That's another good word. Well, there's a lot of mid-century, houses and so forth. I know in Central Texas. So what's the process? Somebody calls you and says, I want to redo my bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you go about helping them?
That's a great question, and I'm glad you asked me that because it's one I get every day. Mm-hmm. So a lot of my stuff is on my Instagram, which is at Moonrain, just one word. And so they'll go through and they'll pull pictures and they'll send me a question. Hey, how do I buy this? Well, a lot of times because you're buying a custom product, it's not inexpensive. It's up there.
Yeah.
So I always offer some time of mine in the package. So if someone will send me a picture of their bed or their bedroom, then I can do, I jokingly, you know what a flat Stanley is? The little Where's Waldo?
Oh, yeah.
And people have the little picture of Flat Stanley and you have to find him. So to me, it's like a paper doll. So I do a cutout kind of image because I wasn't raised in the time of CAD design and SketchUp and Revit and all the fancy programs you see on TV. Mm-hmm. So I do my own thing.
Right.
And it's sort of
sort
of like a paper doll, and I can superimpose that on top of their bedroom to kind of give them an idea of what it looks like.
Oh, that's good, though.
And so I'll put that package together for them.
So, and that could be just totally changing the colors.
Absolutely. It can go just the bedding, and we could do the whole room.
Yeah.
And I've got several of those going right now. And ironically, a lot of my clients are out of town. And so I can't even go to the room. So we do it online.
Right. And with the technology we have now, that
it's easy.
Yeah, that does make it easy. And so I'm sure you've got contractors, people that you know all over that you trust.
I do. And sometimes I have people that come to me and say, hey, I have a contractor. Mm-hmm. Can you put the package together?
Yeah.
And so that's even easier.
Very good. Well, so what are the things you're finding people are really gravitating toward? Obviously, you have a certain style, but are there certain colors? What are folks looking at now?
So with everything going on, and it's funny to watch the phases. The black and the white and everything.
Yeah,
we're seeing color come back.
Yeah, because seemed like a long time, everything was pale gray.
Mm-hmm. A lot of gray,
lots of gray, and
a lot of
maybe
black
a little
and white.
pop of color. But so yeah, you're a color girl.
I am. But like I've got a set right now that we're working on for a photo shoot for a magazine where it's all creams and blacks, and it's got a touch of gray and a touch of forest green.
Ooh,
and it's really pretty.
That sounds restful.
It is, and I'm glad you said that because. See, to me, that's a big deal.
Sure.
Your bedroom should be your sanctuary. It should be where it makes you happy, comfortable, restful, whatever you want it to be.
Yeah. So maybe what if a client, though, really doesn't have a good handle on what they like? Or if it's a couple, you've always got to figure out what's the guy going to be interested in, and feel comfortable. And that's got to be a little bit tricky sometimes.
It is. A lot of times people don't realize they have a style until they have figured it out with you. I've got a lady right now that she said, well, I really don't know what I want. But then I'll send her something. She'll go, no.
She knows she doesn't like that.
And so I love it when people go on Pinterest and make if you're in the know on stuff like that, Pinterest has boards that you can create. And then you can go in Pinterest and you can search, okay, I want to search blue couches. And it'll give you all these ideas, or rooms with blue paint, or a country kitchen, or whatever it is you're thinking. And then you get inspiration and you tag those pictures, and it puts them in a folder for you.
Oh, so you can go back and...
Yeah, you can go back and you can share that folder with me. And I can go, okay, I'm seeing what you're cooking here. And if you'll put notes, okay, I like this room. I don't like the whole room, but I love that chair. It makes my life a lot easier.
Yeah, absolutely. Pinterest, really, there can be so many wonderful ideas. My one foray into doing something style-wise, I had inherited quite a few evening bags.
Oh, wow.
And in my little dressing area, I had seen somewhere where they had just hung them on the wall.
Yeah.
And so I hung all my.
I think I saw your picture.
Did you see it?
Yeah, it looks good.
It got a lot of hits. And then help going through some things. I found some more bags, so I've still got a few I need to add.
But you've got room
to it.
that you can put it around.
Yeah, and it kind of made that area, ironically, seem bigger.
Yeah.
Having all those things on the wall. I can't explain why it seemed like that. It's anyway.
But right there, you just pinpointed the best way to design, because so many times I've been asked to do spec houses. Well, there's no person.
Right.
There's no human attached. So it's really, there's no personality. There's no heart and soul of that person to design for.
Mm-hmm.
And so when someone like you has a collection that's special, and that right there can open the door to everything design wise. It's personal. It's the only way, the best way to do things. So I love that you did that.
Okay, is there, I mean, when we bought our house, it was 13 years old, and I like the colors.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, but, do you get to a point where it's like you really need to change the colors from the
Only if
golds and the,
Yeah, only if it doesn't make you happy.
Okay.
Because
Right.
that's basically, that's
Yeah.
the point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because who's going to be walking around taking magazine pictures of your house all the time?
Yeah, nobody.
You got to live in it. And if it fits you, then it's perfect.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Good. Very good. Let's talk a little bit more, though, about your raining.
Okay.
Because I was really interested in reading about that being a horsewoman is something you'd always wanted to do. Did you not grow up around horses?
No, Dad being a pastor, we
Yeah,
always
you were moving a lot.
we were moving a lot, and we always lived in the church parsonage. So
Mm-hmm.
we never had our own home. And so I joke, if my mother was still around, she'd go, it seemed like I always found the boys that had horses growing up in middle school or elementary school. And if they liked me, they'd invite me out to ride. And so I was like the boys that had the horses.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I got, we'd go ride. And it was fun. And
Did you take lessons, or did you just sort of learn as you went along?
So I just sort of played as I went along. And then when I got on the road with Trading Spaces, it sort of changed some things for me. And I thought, you know what? Because I was around 40. I thought, if I don't do this now, I will never do it. I wasn't 40 yet, but I was getting close. And I thought, okay, so I have a friend in Lorena, Mary Bauer, who actually does lessons and things. And she said, okay, I'll help you find a horse. So we went together, shopped, and I started to learn how to ride with my first horse. It was hard because, of course, I picked the most difficult riding sport on the planet.
So yeah, I'm not really familiar with reining. What does that mean?
So reining is you and the horse in the arena, and you run patterns. Sometimes we call it dressage in the Western world.
Right. Oh, okay.
So you're running a pattern, and it is...
Are you jumping over things?
No, thank you, Lord, no, because I think my horse has no business off the ground.
All 4 feet
Yeah.
on the ground.
Yeah, but you're doing figure eights, you're doing sliding stops, you're doing spins in place. And so it's patterns, and I forget how many patterns there are because I've been out of it for about 4 or 5 years, or actually 6 years now. But it's the rule book talks about the horse being willingly guided.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you have to be able to control that horse with just your legs, your seat, or maybe just a little movement. The judge doesn't want to see what you're doing to tell that horse to do what he's doing. So the more you can do it subtly between you, it's like a 50-50 with you and the horse.
Yeah. And of course, I guess just the more practice you have with the animal,
Mm-hmm.
they learn.
They do. And also I had a trainer. So I had someone to say, okay, Christy, because most of the time you're getting a horse that's smarter than you in the sport. So that's just the way it is unless you're a trainer.
They are smart.
They are. And they
really
figure
are.
out your personality too.
Yeah.
And after time, they'll go, oh, I can get away with this. And so they'll do things that you can't fix. So there's that too.
Oh. So you actually went to competitions.
I did.
That is just fascinating.
I tell you, one of my best selling products on Moon Rain are my buckle pillows. So if you win a buckle, I've got pillows made out of stuff like this or cowhide or whatever that I have an attachment that you can put on your buckle. And so you can display your buckle on a
your
pillow
pillow.
on your bed or whatever.
Yeah.
And I've done, so again, it's personal. So I don't take somebody's buckle. I send it where they can do it because I know how hard it is to earn those.
And you don't want to be responsible for something happening.
No, you can't replace it.
No.
And also, my favorite thing has been someone calling me and going, well, my dad won this world roping and this in the 50s. And I have his buckle and he passed away. And it's like, oh, yes, I'll make you a pillow.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So pretty special.
That is cool. That is neat. Yeah, there are these milestones in life, these special awards and things like that, and you like to be able to enjoy it, but you're not necessarily going to wear it.
No, and the way we set it up, you can wear it if you want, but a lot of people are in the horse world have so many.
Yeah.
The joke is now, well, I have this case full and this case full and this. So if you're really into it, if you're really from a ranching family or from rodeo or anything like that, you're going to have a bunch. But like I just did Corey and Patty Priest Ranch. We did an updo for that one, and she had some buckles from the 60s through the 80s that Corey had won. Oh. And so we did tiebacks. They have a study room in there. So we did tiebacks with the buckles on the end because they live on their ranch.
Yeah.
And then their ottoman had a big place in the middle, and we put one in the middle of
the ottoman, yeah. Yeah, well, you're in your element with these ranch houses.
I am. I love it. And again, that's not all I do, but it's my heart.
Right. Oh, that's great. Yeah. So you did give up the horse riding, though?
Yeah, I went through a divorce about 7 years ago, and horses are not cheap.
No, you gotta feed them.
You gotta feed them. You gotta vet. You gotta shoes, horseshoes. Then if you're showing them, then you got boarding and training and hauling and show fees. It adds up really fast. Not to mention the price for the horse if you're competing.
Sure.
So I put that. I think that horse paid off a credit card when I sold him.
You sold, yeah.
But one day I'm going to get back. I keep my saddle right next to my desk.
That's your motivation.
That's my motivation, and I'm going to get back into it one day.
Well, now you've got some other changes as well with your business. You've been in downtown Waco and
7 years.
Yeah, but you're moving out west. Young lady.
Yeah, out west, young lady. So we've had some things that we had wanted to do didn't work out. And so we're in a transition period right now. We went ahead and closed the store downtown. And we're kind of in limbo. We're still working, but we're not working out of the boutique location. But in the meantime, we're going to move in May out to the, there's some warehouses on Franklin that are kind of fun. They're in front of the Dupuis Oxygen Tin Man.
Right, that big,
the big metal guy painted like a woodcracker. Nutcracker, what's he called? Yeah.
Yeah, it looks
soldier.
like it, yeah.
Yeah, so they're right below that. And we're going to do a unit there. We've got a large unit, and we're going to have factory. We're going to set up a showroom in there, too. And we're going to be working there.
But you actually manufacture your products here?
Yes. So all the bedding we make in-house.
Okay. So no Chinese.
Oh, no. I don't have the intestinal fortitude for that. Let me tell you, I can't. No, I order some product from India. If somebody doesn't want custom, I have some India lines that I sell that are good, like quilts and things. But so we make everything in-house. We do everything from draperies to bedding. The bedding is the big thing we make in-house. And I've just taken on a full-time upholstery guy that's going to be doing upholstery in-house.
That's good to know because it can be hard finding.
It's very hard. All the guys that do it in Waco are so busy.
Oh, yeah?
They don't even have time to do stuff for people like me that bring them work all the time.
Right.
And so I've decided I'm just going to do that. Yeah.
You found somebody.
Yeah. He's in training right now. We're pretty excited about it. I do a lot of rescues. So I take old pieces and I love to trick them out and do fun things. So we're going to have a line of those. We're upping the website so you can click and order things now more. And we're just going to, I'm simplifying my life, which we talked about about when you've got all these things going, sometimes you got to take that spot and slow it down. So we're consolidating everything into the Moonrain brand.
Very good.
We're not going to have Christie's shop anymore.
Okay.
But it's still going to be design, bedding, furniture, everything under one brand.
Good. Well, if you had one suggestion, we're kind of coming out of winter. Thank goodness. This has just been, I'm just so ready for spring. But you want to kind of freshen things up. What is a great way to do that? You know, just kind of spiff you don't necessarily want to spend $15,000 for doing a room, but
there's easy things you can do. Changing pillows. That's a really easy one. There's a lot of fun rugs out there now that are not horribly expensive, that are easy to change. So, you know, it might be $1,000, but it's not a $5,000 rug, you know,
Right.
or it might be a $500 rug. Changing a rug, changing some accessories, especially, you know, back in the day, remember everybody put everything on top of their kitchen cabinets.
oh, yes.
Everything from chickens to roosters to ivy.
I know. I just moved a rooster out. It's going to a garage sale.
Yeah. I mean, when you can get to a point where you're not in love with those things anymore,
yeah.
you know, kind of cleaning that
time
thing
to
out
go.
it's, you know, or changing it out.
Yeah, we're hearing a lot about this minimalistic kind of approach. And I get it. I get that we've got too much stuff. Oh, man. But, you know, it can also be very stark and cold, too.
Exactly.
So there's sort of a balance. My minimalist idea may not be the same as
Exactly.
Marie Kondo.
Well, and you know, not everybody can be Marie Kondo.
No, that's for sure.
Boy, I can't imagine being that organized. I don't even know what to think about that. That's got to be something tough to deal with. But I think you have to pick what works for you. Because and if I could tell anybody anything, don't try to fit everybody else's mold.
Right.
Be you. And
because you're the one, as you said earlier, you're living there. It's you. You're not doing this for people online on your Facebook page or any of that kind of thing.
Yeah. How many of us out there are actually influencers on social media?
Not very many.
There you go.
Very few. But a lot of people want to be.
Yeah.
But not very many people really are. Oh, well, I love your style, though. I love to chat with you, and I like to end these little visits with a questionnaire. It's similar to the one the wonderful and now deceased James Lipton would use on Inside the Actor's Studio.
Yeah.
Are you familiar
Yes.
with that? Yeah. Okay, so this is my version of it. What is your favorite word?
Ooh. The first one that comes to mind, well, I have two, but the first one that came to my mind was serendipity.
Well, that's a good one. I've not heard that one yet.
My mother, that was her descriptive for herself. Serendipity Mary. And it's just such a positive, you think of, it's serendipitous. It's like
a fun happening.
Happy accident kind of thing, or a fun happening. That's a good one. And then the other one for me is kaleidoscope, because that's how my husband describes me. Mm-hmm. I'm his kaleidoscope girl because of all the colors.
Yeah. You love that. You love those colors. What's your least favorite word?
The first one that came to mind is can't.
Yeah. I do hear that
two
a
words
lot.
or one? That's one.
Yeah. Cannot. Yeah. Now it's just it just stops.
Yeah.
Anything happening.
Yeah.
What turns you on creatively, emotionally, or spiritually?
Oh gosh, that's three different things, right?
Yeah, well, it is.
Yeah. So of course, spiritually, my whole life revolves around that. I'm in a ministry. I've got two kind of ministry things I'm doing, and we have one of them is a women's prayer group, and so
that's wonderful.
That fires me up when we get together and the Lord's working in women's lives, and we see healing and changes, and it's so exciting. If you're talking creatively, Trisha works for me. We went to a place in Dallas. We were talking about color. There's so many things now that don't have color, and everything you walk in, you go, oh, there's another mid-mod showroom. Oh, there's another, or a lot of glitz and crystals, or it's like extremes
and stuff. Yeah.
We went into a store in Dallas, and I walked in and I thought, oh, be still my soul. It's a store called Oka, O-K-A. It's a UK company. You walk in and they have deep green walls with pottery all over the walls and textures and things from different countries. And it's like this, I don't know if that's the right word, visceral. It's like a visceral experience.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean you can kind of feel
really
it?
Feel it.
Yeah. That's, to me, that gets me going.
It immediately spoke to you.
Yeah.
Then what turns you off creatively or spiritually or emotionally?
Well, creatively, things that are bad replicas.
Oh.
You know, so like
Yeah, cheap
somebody,
imitation.
yes, somebody says, "Oh, I have this Chippendale chair," and it's wood pile. You know,
But you have to be so tactful.
yeah, yeah.
What sound do you love the most?
Ooh, besides my child's laughter,
Yeah.
I love this. Here we go, horses. That when a horse does that, that's the epitome. So
What is a horse saying when they're doing that?
that is contentment. That
Oh,
is
really?
like if you ever see a horse go and lick their lips,
Uh-huh.
they're chill.
Okay.
That's a good thing. I'll never forget. And if we have time for this little story,
Go ahead,
at a
yeah.
horse show, we're in the stalls and we've all been riding and showing. And it's one of my favorite things to do is to hang out with everybody in the barn after the show and just kind of reminisce and talk about the day. And our horses have just been bathed and maybe they're in cross ties standing in the middle. I had this one time our horse was standing in the middle, drying off. And, you know, you have them cross tied so they can't go anywhere. And somebody in the background is playing Amazing Grace on an amp on their guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, I have goosebumps thinking about it. And all of a sudden your horse goes, and that's like the epitome of, this is good. That's
Yeah.
one of my favorite sounds.
That is great. Well, what is your least favorite sound?
Besides chalkboard and fingernails.
Oh, yeah, there's always that.
That was easy.
Yeah, there's always that. What other profession would you have liked to try?
Somebody asked my mother that when my mother was a youth minister, a pastor's wife, and she worked with the youth, and they said, Miss Mary, what would you be if you weren't a preacher's wife? And she said, that's easy, a go-go dancer. And I'm like, no, that's not quite me. I started out thinking as a child I wanted to be a veterinarian, but I later realized I couldn't deal with the pain. I love animals.
Yeah.
I couldn't deal with it.
The hard part would be hard.
So honestly, I love what I do, and I do
That's good.
so many different things. Within my career, it's awesome.
You have done a lot. Well, what do you know you would not want to do?
Anything to do with the law, accounting, anything strict and structured.
Yeah, yeah. And finally, what do you want to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
You're gonna make me cry now. Good job, daughter.
Well, you are doing a good work.
You make me cry.
You are doing a good work. Christy, thank you so much
Thank
for your
you.
time. This has been so much fun. And for bringing that beautiful,
I'll let you hug it in a minute.
I would love to. That you just want to cuddle that. Yeah. So, and folks can get in touch with you how?
So our shop phone is 254-235-1047. And we've got that. We take texts, we take calls, and we carry it around with us. So that's a good way. Or go through the website, ChristiProctorHurst.com, and you can contact me there.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Thanks,
Christy. And thank you. We'll see you next time.
Central Texas Life with Ann Harder is part of the Rogue Media family. Be sure to check out our other shows at roguemedianetwork.com. Please rate this show 5 stars on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or anywhere you get your podcasts. Join us again soon for more Central Texas Life with Ann Harder.